Okay, how come I haven't seen this in the manual anywhere? I literally drained this thing so that I could show you two inputs at 60 watts each for 120 total. Then I got the idea, well, what if we try this 250 watt charger here, and we're currently putting out 92 watts, 184 total, and this shows it's accepting 180 frickin' watts. What the heck? I did not realize this thing could charge that fast. Oh my freaking gosh. It gets even better. I disconnected this so there's nothing on it. And I've got these two 140 watt chargers here. One of them is doing 140 while the other's doing 100. And we are now putting in two. Oh my gosh. Why is it charging so fast? 43 minutes? Oh my word. This is insane.
What's going on, YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do, and this is a super exciting video because this company reached out to me, and also shout out to them in their persistence. They have emailed me so many times over the years, and they just kept emailing me. And then somebody asked me about this, so I searched my inbox and found where they had emailed me, and I responded. So I did not pay for this. This was sent to me for free, but I'm going to test this as if I purchased it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it as if I purchased it, because there's a lot of options. And Anchor, for example, has one that directly competes with this, and it might be better or it might be worse. I do want to aim to find out. Also, we just checked out this power bank right here. So if you want to watch that, go check out that video. I'll probably forget to link to it below, but it's got a built-in little USB cable, and that's currently what it's charging with. All right, so there are a few videos on this on the internet, but to be honest with you, none of them are like mine at all. So I'm excited to be one of the first to actually fully show this power bank and its potential. So this is 140 watts bidirectional max, 60,000 mAh large capacity, 20 to 60 volts. That's amazing. That's a very high range for the solar input, which we do have solar panels, and we're going to test it. And it says AsperX, and it's got the model number, new AsperX portable camping emergency. And then here we've got some warnings, some contact information for the company. There you go. We have some specifications and the model number, AXP200. It is 192 watt hours. It is LiFePO4, so that's fantastic. That's the safe battery chemistry that can be charged thousands of times before it degrades. And then you have all your voltages and ranges, and it can do up to 200 watts maximum. And that solar input, it can do up to 100 watts maximum. And then it's got all of these safety listings. I'm not going to read all those off. You can go ahead and read those for yourself. What I am going to do is break the seal and pull this bad boy out. Now I also have a Jackery unit that looks similar to this coming, so that'll be here in a few days. I'll be making that video, so get subscribed if you're not already. And then we have the user manual, and that's gonna be it. It doesn't appear to even come with a cable, which is a downside, but it is definitely a cute little unit, that's for sure. So we've got two buttons, we've got our solar input, we have our DC output. That's freaking cool. So you can connect like a mini fridge to that if you have the right connectors. So like, for example, I have a 5521 to mini fridge, and while that won't be able to provide it 100 watts, it'll be close to it. We have the PD in and out, and then we have the USB-C 140 watt there. And then we have two USB for, charging up older things that you want to charge slowly. If you want things to charge quickly, or if you have like a laptop or a iPad or something like that, you'll definitely want to use these because these are going to charge it much faster. We do have this important thing, which is a pop-up light. Now, I have had power outages where having this light was absolutely fantastic. It was a lifesaver, honestly. I was able to set this thing down and see what I'm doing. So having that is absolutely fantastic. And I just turned it on by holding down the button, and I turned it off by holding it down. So holding down the button, turns the screen on. And we'll go ahead and just run through all these. We got one level there. We've got a brighter level there. That's pretty bright. And then we have SOS. So we really have two levels. Oh, we got two different SOSs. So, or if you just want to straight up turn it off after you turn it on, you can just hold it down and it turns it off. So we'll go to the bright one there and we'll hold it down. There you go. So pretty cool. I cannot tell you how nice having that light is. It is super nice. So this kind of looks like ventilation, but it's not. Neither is that. So this really has no ventilation, so okay. And then on the back, it's blank. On the bottom, we have some information here. The same thing that we saw in the box. Safety listing, serial number, all that good stuff. I'm going to use a 140 watt charger, and I'm going to connect it to the power bank. And as you can hopefully see, we have 127 watts going into this thing at 27 volts, almost 5 amps. We also have it on the screen here, so if you don't have your own little tester, that's fine. It shows you right there. It says it's going to be 0 hours and 54 minutes before it's fully charged. Now, I do want to do a test where I drain this thing and see how long it takes to go from 0 to full. I also want to connect solar tomorrow because, well, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. But on another day, I do want to connect solar because currently it's 9:35 at night and we're charging up pretty fast. Let's see if we have pass-through. And yes, we do appear to have pass-through charging. So we are currently charging this power bank at 126 watts. This shows 128, and we're outputting 90 watts to this ROG Ally X. All right, so yeah, now we can play our game, and we're charging our ROG Ally X at full speed, or we could connect up our, laptop and charge that at 100 watts while we charge the power bank at 128 watts. So we're putting in more than we're taking away. And it's absolutely going to charge. Oh, I was not even looking at the screen. We're absolutely going to charge this thing before this thing dies because it's getting more than it's putting out. I've been playing this on the Nintendo Switch too, so I'm much further on there. But I do really enjoy the game a lot, so I bought it on Steam as well. So anyways, on the actual power bank, it indicates that it's going to take 4 hours in 26 minutes because we're putting in 125, we're taking away 91, so that's like a 30 to 40 watt gain there, where we're technically only charging at about 35 to 40 watts. If we disconnect the ROG Ally X, then we're gonna see it go back up to its full speed there. So let's let this thing fully charge and we'll be back to finish the video. Obviously we're gonna do solar charging as well, and I wanna do a time lapse from empty to full. Check this out. So I've got this little DC thing here. This is a 5521 adapter, but we don't need it. So we just use the one that comes with. And then it's to a cigarette lighter thing, which the cigarette lighter thing then goes to XT60. And you can see that we're putting in 100 watts because this one has an AC inverter in it, which is powering a fan. And this little guy is putting out 108 watts to this guy, because this guy doesn't have an AC inverter and this is an AC fan. So this is just basically extending the runtime of the fan by keeping this thing charged, because it's putting in more power than the fan's currently taking away. I literally am fixing to leave for work in just mere minutes. I take my dog out to use the bathroom before I leave, and I see that we have sun, and this is the first time that's happened in days. So, like multiple days. So, I really want to finish up the video on this AsperX, and as we've seen, that DC5521 is awesome. We can use a DC5521 to 12 volt car cigarette lighter, or like I have bought a DC5521 to DC fridge cable. So what I can essentially do is power a DC fridge with this guy at over 100 watts like I've seen, while I am charging it with solar. Yeah, up to 60 volts is insane. And this guy was at 0. What happened? Maybe it's got to be more than 0 or something. Or maybe it's not plugged in all the way. All right, I had the cable loose. It was not plugged in all the way. So it says that it can charge up to 100 watts of solar. This is over paneling it, but it's within the voltage, so it's fine. It's just gonna ignore any extra amps that gets fed into it. And look at that number just climb. I literally have to leave for work. I just wanted to finish this video. I've been sitting on this video for like 2 weeks now. I'm just thoroughly impressed by this little thing. I love that DC5521. Like I said, with the DC5521 to 12 volt car cigarette lighter adapter, I could essentially plug in anything within 100 watts and use it. It's freaking fantastic. Or my DC5521 to DC fridge cable, one little cable that's nice and secure in there and doesn't pop out like a cigarette lighter plug does, and it keeps my Anker Solix fridge at 112 watts of output, somewhere around there. The weird thing about this unit, and this is the only unit I've ever seen this with, is the fact that when you run it until it's at 0 and it turns off, if you turn it on, it shows 0, but then it'll let you draw like 111, 112 watts from it at 0 for like a minute or two. The more I mess with this unit, the more impressed I am with it. So we're currently using the USB-C port, and we have this going to XT60 into this AC2P, and it's currently accepting 125 watts from this power station. And if you look here, it's 28 volts, 4.5 amps for almost 129 watts. And we have the PlayStation 4 Pro being powered by this thing so that we can remove some power from it. So we're inputting less than we're taking out. The PlayStation's only drawing 86 watts, but this is an older TV. Someone actually was throwing it away, but I couldn't help myself. I had to nab it up because it works, and it's got the old school yellow, white, red, and it's got RGB. Oh! Anyways, so yeah, that USB-C port is great. Most power stations that I plug this into cannot do this. It'll trip when this thing gets plugged in, but this is handling it like a champ. What I'm trying to do is drain it, get this thing down to 0 so that I can show you it powers down, and then it still lets you draw power. So I'm trying to show you that. Alright, so the battery just died in here. It went to 0 and it powered down. You'll see that in the time lapse. So what I want to see is if I can duplicate the action where I plug it in and it continues to output. So I will turn the unit on with nothing connected at all, and you'll see that it shows 0. It powered down because the battery was so low. But if I connect this DC5521 up, you're going to see that the output, or maybe now it won't actually do it. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're getting 31 watts right now of output, even though the unit shut down because it was at 0%. And I've seen it jump all the way to 100 of output, even though it powered down because it's at 0. And we'll just kind of see how long this lasts for. You can see the clock here. It's 12:34. Yeah, I mean, it's just continuing to put out 30 watts. I'm no expert, but this just doesn't feel like something that should be a thing. If it says 0, it should not allow for any output. It should be waiting for input. Another minute passed, and yeah, it's still going. See if we can increase the output. There we go.
That's what I was talking about. 128 watts. That shows 120. But we're at 0%. And the blue eddy over here is saying 125 input. And there it goes. It powers down again. But can we immediately get that same... Okay. So right here, it should realize it's at 0 and just power off. But no! No! I feel like this could break the unit. It could end up continuing to do this until the point where the battery is too low for it to even accept any input in the future. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to do it again after this. It should shut down immediately. And there we go. Alright, well, so there you go. There's the test. That's proof that this thing is not exactly accurate as far as the 0%, because it still has... I don't know. I've never seen that before. Usually when something says 0 when it shuts off, it doesn't let you draw anything from it at all until you recharge it. That is not the case with this guy. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm pretty sure it's not good for long term, because the BMS, the thing inside it, saying, hey, we have no more power left, but it's still letting some power out of it. So there you go. It's been a few minutes and we're happily charging about 95, 97 watts. How long will it take to charge? Well, if you watch the main video, you know it'll be about 2 hours at 130 watts of input using the Type-C. So if you take the 2 hours and you subtract 30 watts, it'll probably take about 2.5 to maybe 3 hours. Depends on your panel, really. This panel is a 200 watt panel, so it's easily going to supply 100 watts of solar. But if you have a 100 watt panel, you need to have perfect sun conditions to get anywhere near 80 to 90 watts. So in this situation, overpaneling is giving us a huge benefit where we're hitting the maximum threshold for solar input, and it's not having to achieve perfect solar conditions to do that. So, fan-freaking-tastic. And we're already at 2%. This is a different video. I just came out here to also shoot that too. This one is a bigger battery, a much bigger company, but it doesn't have the DC barrel plug. So there's no way to get a 12 volt output to like a refrigerator or something. So, and there's no light on it. And this little guy has a light. This is a 192 watt hour battery. This is a 256 watt hour battery. But this one can also accept dual input, and I've seen it go to 125 watts using two like 65 watt chargers. So that's awesome that this thing can accept dual input. I want to show you the dual charging. So it's at 0% and it's dead. And these are just 60 watt cables. So each cable is only capable of doing 60 watts. So I'm going to plug in the first one, and you're going to see that it's going to accept a charge of up to 60 watts. All right, that's it. So, well, we want to charge faster than 60 watts. So I'll plug in the second one here. So second one's going to get plugged in now. Now it says C1 and C2. And you're going to see that the input is now doubled. And the total is 110. So, yeah, dual input is quite freaking nice. I do not have anything negative to say about this little power station at all so far. Fantastic little guy. It's a gym, and it just said 99 watts. We might have 99 problems, but a watt ain't one. Let me start this out by apologizing. I've been running my butt off because I'm gonna be late for work, but I'll leave soon. And instead of just talking, I wanted to show. So I brought it all back out here, connected this up. This is getting 100 watts of solar right now. And we have our DC powered fridge. Now this does have a battery inside it, right there. So this will be charging the battery in here, but you could also pretend that we're using like an IceCo fridge that doesn't have a battery, or any other DC powered fridge that doesn't have a battery. We have the 12 volt plugged in, and using this simple cable right here, that is DC 5521, plug it in, and
Would you look at that? Instead of just talking, I figured I could show. Now, the unfortunate thing is, since the battery in here is at 50%, it's a 280 watt-hour battery, it is having to charge the battery that's in there. So we are technically putting in less than we're putting out. So we are gonna eventually die. If we disconnect the battery that's in here, say it's fully charged, you could say it's fully charged, and this is a test of that. So now we're getting all of our power from this guy. And once the compressor kicks on, all right, I just felt it vibrate. And yep, we are currently drawing power. See, we don't require that much power to run the actual unit. So we are still going to charge this with 101 watts of solar. Yes, I know it's time to leave, sorry. We're still charging this with 100 watts of solar, and we're only outputting about 30 to say 50. So this battery will fully charge. The only reason we saw 110 is because this battery is at 50% charge. So it's going to also charge the battery in here with this. But the battery in here will eventually get to 100%, and it will drop back down to, you know, anywhere from 0 watts when the compressor is not needed to be on to 30 to 50 watts. So while the sun's out, we'll always be putting in more than we're taking out once the battery in here is fully charged. All right, I gotta go put this all back down, go to work. I just wanted to show you guys because this is just super exciting. And this is the advantage of having a DC 5521 output and a DC input. And we can still plug up, like, you know, a USB powered device such as your laptop or your gaming handheld or whatever you need. You've still got an extra 100 watts of output to play with. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna still drain the battery. But the good thing is, as long as you're producing solar, it's gonna take longer to drain the battery because it's, even though it's inputting less than it's outputting, it's going to take substantially longer than if you just didn't have any input at all. So that's a huge advantage of having the input. See, 10 minutes till it's dead. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you go to my YouTube channel, my main profile, and you click posts, you'll see all the latest stuff I'm working on. Thanks for watching. This is what Josh do, and I'm out.